microscope is more in the EuroLeague than it's ever been?
I feel a lot of people, we know a lot of people from NBA that they already have the microscope over here. They're looking either for coaches' knowledge or for players, and this is something which is normal. Definitely EuroLeague right now is at least everybody admits that it's the most competitive league in the world. I can say.
Yeah, you can't hide anymore. You have to play everybody. It's not the same. It's fun to watch.
You know, when I grew up and when I was growing up and I was watching the NBA, it was like there were no European players back then. Nobody would even think that European players are important. Then some European players started to become like role players, sort of just earn the spot. And then you start seeing guys that they were protagonists, European players. So it's inevitable that the same thing will happen with coaches. I don't know when that's gonna be. I don't know what extent, but I think you're gonna see that European coaches get integrated into the NBA. And you know, as far as the part like people watching EuroLeague, I mean, I think the smart ones should.
Right.
You should watch the EuroLeague, not just because we're doing something special, but sometimes a different way of work and different approach could benefit you. And we all in Europe, we got the benefit of watching the NBA and picking up things from the NBA and being smarter for it. I think the guys in the States that they watch the EuroLeague and see how we do things over here, may pick up some things here, some idea there. So it should be, in my opinion, the smart thing to do.
Right. When you're aligning yourself with somebody, you guys were both at Panathinaikos, and he's leaving to go off on his own, and you make the decision to go with him. You're aligning yourself with another person as a professional and as a person, because you have to respect this person and believe in what his message and what he can achieve, right? So how difficult is this to kind of, it's like placing all your chips on somebody else, right? To be the support team of another person, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's difficult. I mean, if you know what you're doing, if you, like you said, you have faith in somebody, and faith is something earned. You know, you work with him, we're together, we go through things together, and it's not a difficult decision to follow. Sometimes it's difficult to leave some things behind, though. You know, I left, personally, Panathinaikos, it was a team that I grew up in, and before I left for Turkey, I've been in Athens all my life, and I've been in Panathinaikos in one way or the other all my life. But it was, I knew it was the right move, and I was vindicated for it. And because you build a relationship, and you know, Dimitris earns your trust through the work, through all those things. So it's easy in the end to make this decision.
And I'm guessing when you go these other places out of your comfort zone together, it's almost like it can be like a you against the world mentality when things are down. Like, you at least have each other to lean on if you're having a rough stretch of games or the media is talking or whatever. At least it's kind of like, well, you know that you have somebody going through it with you, right?
Definitely. You need to rely on this. I mean, with Andreas, this is our 6th year in CSK. We got 1 year in Bandit, which is 7, and another 7 over there. So we're closing. We're walking into 14th, 15th season. So, and we had the same. I've been 13 years with Željko, and you need to have this kind of a trust. I think that he feels it, and I feel it. I mean, I can listen everything from Andreas, especially in the closed doors. We can talk, we can confront each other, we can have a different opinion. And actually, this is the value of the conversation. Right. And who wins is the club and the basketball himself, or the strategy that we're gonna go through, and we're gonna actually try to demonstrate out there. So, but you need to have a trust, and actually, you need to be an open-minded. I do believe that I'm an open-minder, that he has to say that, but I'm ready to listen, and we're going to make decisions based on quality of the scouting that he does, based on the experience that he has, that we have as a group and as a tandem, and I can kind of rely on what he says, and I fully trust on what he sees. So that's very important. But I will answer on the first part of the thing what you said, or among your words over there. You said how you're gonna deal with a bad stretch, games when you're losing, media pressure, or so whatever people they say, they talk. I can say now that I have this, that with all the respect, I don't care what they say.
Right.
I do care of what they say, my group of people that I work with, my players, how they see it, and my management. That's my closing group, which I care about what they say, and eventually what I see. You know, when I see the film, what I see. Though last year, which was a very successful year for us, I can say this with capital letters, that what defines us as a group of successful people, at the end of the day, it was our main failures. So I used to say that we were falling, we will fall in our life, in professional life, in personal life, we will fall. We did fall many times, but we try to fall forward. We don't try to fall back. So we try to get lessons out of that and try to build. So last year we had some major failures. We lost from Baskonia in the playoff series. We lost from Maccabi at home. We lost from Panathinaikos at home. Budućnost on the road. So we had a lot of, but we were so bonded together, players first of all, and coaches after that, that we could
get through it.
Get through. We figured it out and we went through.
Do you think that when you're saying you don't necessarily care with the outside noise, right? Do you think some of that comes with already being vindicated, like with just multiple titles, 2 EuroLeague titles, which last year was, now you're defending, right? So do you think that security within yourself, just because you have won at the highest level repeatedly, do you think that becomes more of just staying focused on the bigger picture and not letting things throw you off?
Well, allow me to say something, and then Andreas will go for that. I don't know if it's because of the titles, but you can buy experience. For sure. Experience is coming. For sure. You know, you experienced it. You gotta work. You gotta be into it. I'm not saying we don't do mistakes. I'm not saying we take all the right decisions, but as soon as we establish the status quo, which really gives you the security of having the knowledge, and at the same time you've been there and you can defend your decisions, right? Then probably you go out there and you do what you do. You're ready and you're flexible to do maybe something else, and then, to be honest, it helps that you have this when you have titles, and it's actually what it proves that the system works. Yeah. So exactly. It's something that it works. So the others will follow easier. Right. The path.
Right. Okay. So with a team like CSK, everybody that signs there has to have a certain level of individual success, right? Like they have to be a certain level of player to even get there. How do you manage all of this individual talent and get everybody on the same page in regards to the larger goal of winning a EuroLeague title?
Well, I'll tell you that. I kind of have this discussion with you when I recruit you in Bandit. So I kind of try to have the commitment before the season starts. Right. And when I hear from people like, hey coach, I'm here no matter what, I'm going to do whatever you want just the team to win. Then this kind of helped me and said, okay, but EJ or X player, you know, there's going to be a lot of criticism, there's going to be a lot of tough moments. And what we're doing usually, what I really defend, and I can explain why, is that we are criticizing our leaders. I'm not gonna, try to spend all my criticism or all my authority to the younger, so the older will listen. I do the opposite.
And when I have everybody else will follow.
Exactly. Right. When the leaders are ready to accept criticism and they're ready to go and make the first dunk or sacrifice themselves, unite the others, then the others are going to follow eventually. I'm not saying it's easy, but kind of in summer when we have this recruiting, I like to talk with people and I like to talk to understand and actually to tell them where they come and what is the expectation. So can you deal with that? It's a kind, I'm sorry that I interrupt. No, it's a kind of a commitment that the players are having before even come to the team.
And so basically that's...
Of course, I'm sorry, you do face a lot of difficulties during the season. Yeah. But it's kind of a reminder, hey, do you remember, EJ, what we talked this summer? Yes, that's the moment. Now this is on you to go through, get out of your comfort zone. Yes, I'm putting you out of your comfort zone because I'm criticizing you. Right. But I'm criticizing you using the film or using the situations where you are repeatedly making something wrong. So my job is to correct you.
So basically you guys weed situations out in the recruitment process because you see what kind of person you're dealing with.
I think that that's the first step.
What their greatest
very
motivation is, and then you could just hold them accountable to what they said they want.
Definitely,
for the bigger picture.
Hold them accountable.
But usually, you know, when you recruit high-level players and players that, like you said, reach a certain level, you can rely on some things like their pride, like their willingness to be first, like to do whatever it takes to be first, and these are things that you can count on, no matter how it goes. That these guys are going to motivate themselves, these guys are going to push themselves for that reason, because for their personal pride, because they want to win. So this is something you can manipulate in order to control some situations and to make sure they stay focused on the target.
Right. When you guys have meetings kind of behind closed doors before you come around the team, say you have a bad stretch, or say you have a string of inferior opponents, but you want to keep the team motivated. Do you pre-plan kind of like, we can kind of good cop, bad cop, or I come in and I'm just going to lay in on them today? You know what I mean? Like, you have to do things to motivate the team, right? So throughout this long season, people don't understand how long these seasons are, starting from training camp to the finals, which you want to be in every year, right? So do you do like kind of games either with yourself or kind of with the players between each other?
Well, we'll do a lot of those games, but we don't prepare that. I mean, I can go and say, oh, that will be impossible, that we cannot win this team, and then Andreas will say, come on, if you don't believe it, let's don't go out there. It can happen and it happened now recently, but it's not something that we prepare. Though, I like to motivate my players with bringing them to realistic picture out there. And I say, for instance, I can use that and say, okay, when you play I'm sorry for my language, shitty defense, I can say, what, you like him so much, you want to take his autogram? Okay, go and ask for his autogram then, and you don't play against him. Or I can motivate him and say, okay, you cannot play. You see how I can use also some other words, but right. Yes, it goes like that. They need to be, all the players, they need to be lead. And all the players, they're waiting for that lead. From Michael Jordan, which is the best, he had to have this lead from Phil Jackson and the whole atmosphere in order to become so successful.
Right.
He could not be successful himself only. He had to understand and trust the environment. Of course, he was the main guy, but when he started trusting his teammates, his coaches, and finally the process and the system, then everything became.
Right. So for both of you guys, coaching, you can have a long career coaching, right? When it's all said and done, how would you want to be remembered when people talk about you after your career is over?
Good question. Winner, hopefully. I mean, I had the privilege of being in winning teams, and we won a lot of games, and we won a lot of titles, and kind of this is what I want to be remembered about. I was in winning teams, I was with elite players, I was in great situations, and I won a lot of titles. So considering, you know, and I was never a basketball player, I never managed to have a career or something to help me out. I really started from nowhere to become a coach, and with a really big disadvantage compared to other guys, and I reached that level. So pretty much, I mean, if I can remember like that, like a winner.
I want to be remembered. I want to be remembered like the guy that he fought, you know, like a real fighter, like never give up.
Right.
Always being ready for another fight. Always being highly motivated regardless so many titles. I can here have numerous of titles, like an assistant coach, like a head coach, like individual awards or team awards, but this never will make me lose my passion for the sport, my passion for teaching, my passion for helping people, and that's what fulfills me as a person.